Ndio nimeanza.
Hello viewers. Hello viewers, welcome to our today's program, courtesy of Craig, and today we are privileged to have our guest in this studio, who is actually also happens to be the host of this program. And today we are discussing about the goal of parenting in this 21st century. We are experiencing many challenges on parenting, in as much as knowledge is on the increase. You go to the internet, there are many books that have been written on the same topic or subject about parenting, but parents are still experiencing myriad of challenges in their role of parenting. And today we are privileged to have our guest, who is actually also our host, Stephen Kamore, who is also an author. He's also a speaker, counselor, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome you, Mr. Kamore, to this program today.
Thank you, Mr. Mutua.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
Who is Mr. Kamore?
Okay, Mr. Kamore, okay, my official name is Stephen Kamore.
Yeah.
Kamore is a researcher.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a teacher, but I opted to resign so that I can be able to carry out research and develop programs to reach out to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of mentorship for the readers, and family and marriage matters, and many other things.
Many other things.
Yes.
So, among the areas of your interest in the research,
Yes.
in your researching work, your focus major is on parenting, among other areas.
Well, my research is broad,
Mm-hmm.
but I think personally I have a passion for the family.
For the family.
And having been a parent for a long time, I think God has given me the grace to think more about on how we can raise a better generation, on how we can improve the family matters.
The family matters.
And that is why you can see I have several books on the art of parenting.
Yeah.
There are others on marital issues, motivation, but I have that passion to stabilize the family. And I think one of the area of a stable family is to have responsible children. Every successful parent is actually based on the kind of children that you raise and have in the family. Yes.
Wow, I can see you have a number of books. We'll come to the introduction of the books later in our program.
Yes.
We have a few minutes, viewers, and what is the goal of parenting, Mr. Kamore?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Mr. Mutua. You know, I don't know whether people really sit down to reflect on what you're doing as a parent. I think because many people just wake up and they just find themselves parenting. You just find that you woke up in the morning and here a baby has come. And you just start giving the baby food, buying clothes, taking to school. But all these activities, even you, I don't know. When you are starting, because I know you are an elder, did you really ask yourself, what am I doing as I raise up these children? And I think that is why I feel that question is very important, because everything that we do must be directed or guided by a clear objective. And to me, because actually I have a lot of interest in parenting, I tend to think that one area that we are failing in is that we, from the point go, we don't take time to ask ourselves, now that I have gotten this responsibility of becoming a parent. And by the way, this word parenting is not only for that biological mother or father. It is anybody who is nurturing a child. This parent could be a teacher. This parent could be a pastor. This parent could be probably a mentor. And therefore this word parenting should be taken seriously. That's why you could see even in the traditional African society, the child was owned by the community. everybody had that feeling that we have a goal together, or where we are going to take this child from, and we have a common responsibility on where we are taking the child. And that is why I think your question is very important in this program. Because we need to help our people. We need to help our listeners, those who are hearing us, to understand that parenting is not parenting for the sake of parenting. Parenting is a responsibility, and a responsibility that has expectations, and it has the outcomes which we must realize at the end of the journey. And therefore, to me, because you have now asked what could be the goal, I tend to think that the goal of parenting is simply raising a child from dependence to independence. Because by the end of the journey, this child must be able to stand on him or herself. Like now, when I look at you, when did you interact with your mother last? For example, last month, to know what you are doing and what you are eating. I tend to think if you are like me, even your mother may not even bother unless there's a very serious issue. Why? Because now the parent was able to nurture you up, and you stop gradually, you start by depending on them. When you look at small babies, they can't survive on their own. That's why they need to be fed by their mothers. You need to help them as they walk. But as they continue from the first day, there is a natural instinct which we actually tend to prevent from developing. The instinct of wanting to be independent. And you can try to look at this small child. Why does the child want to stand? And when the child is standing and it is falling, you just say, no, mom, leave me alone. I want to walk. But you are so worried that you want to keep on holding these hands. But now as the child continues again at another stage, you are still bathing the child. And the child tells you, no, within me I have an instinct. I want to learn how to live on my own. So stop bathing me. Can you give me this opportunity to bathe myself?
Could it be the reason why we have now many cases, especially men,
Yes.
Who are of the age of living by themselves? Some of them are working, they are making money, even close to 40, still living in their parents' home, and yet they are financially independent.
Yes.
But they don't want to go out there and explore the terrain
Yes.
of life outside there on their own. You say parenting is a process of developing a child from dependence to independence. So you are saying that we fail to inculcate
Yes.
those values or the system that is already built by God
Yes.
inside the children. That when you are bathing them, they will tell you, no, I just want to do it myself. And even, like, I remember my children. I always, when they were young, I used to buy them clothes. But they got to a point and now they didn't want me to do that. And whenever I bought them, they will not really accept that, whatever I bought them. And I realized my children are becoming more independent. And so I allowed them to do it by themselves. And I am agreeing with you that we can actually fail to develop the system of independence in our children.
And it is natural.
So could it be the reason why we have so many big boys, especially boys,
Now, one of the
in their
challenges,
parents' home who are refusing to be independent deliberately, and yet they are able to live by themselves?
now I think
Is it a parenting blunder?
yes, your observation is very correct. In fact, if you look at our contemporary society, one of the challenges we have with our children is that they are having what you call dependence syndrome. You find children who will grow, they don't want to take responsibility on themselves, and they always believe that behind me, I have a mother, I have a mother. If I fall, they're there for me. So there's no need of growing faster and taking the responsibility. By the way, let me challenge you. Do you know, Mutua, that in the animal kingdom, and I want to challenge you, and I also challenge my listeners, Tell me of an animal or a bird or any creature that rears children and they remain children even when they are adult. But I can tell you there's one. You and me. Hello.
Yeah.
We human beings. That's where we are. And you know, nowadays, as we bring up our children, we suffer from a fear of releasing them to do things on their own. So actually, when you look at my book, and I think I'm happy because even the media has already started capturing. Like today in the Nairobian newspaper, there's a very big article there, and they are talking about the passion on authoring parenting books. Now, the title of this book, I'm telling you, is that The Art of Parenting.
The Art of Parenting.
The parenting
so
is
one
an
of
art.
the books?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the word art here
is the same? They seem to be
yes.
of different colors? Or
Yes.
The same?
No, this one deals to help the parents.
This is volume 1, volume
Yes,
2.
volume 2.
Yeah.
But the focus is different.
That is the art of
Yes.
parenting.
And now the question I'm asking now, you're asking me, I think it is captured in volume 1.
Yeah.
Because one of the chapters
You
there
can
is...
just, in a nutshell, because
Yes.
our viewers, for
Yes.
now, they may not be able to access the information in the
Yes.
book, but I hope they will be able
Yes.
to get the books. How do you
Yes.
get them?
These books, you can get them from the bookshops.
Yeah. What bookshops?
Like now you can go to the Catholic bookshops in Muranga, in Kirinyaga. You can go to Shania bookshop in town.
Yeah.
You can go to Thika bookshop.
Yeah.
There are quite a number.
In a nutshell, you can
yeah.
maybe explain to our viewers in a
Yes.
nutshell, how do we capture that in this program before maybe we're able to get a copy of this book?
About the theme.
You don't know what you're talking about, the role of parenting.
Yes.
Developing our children from dependence.
Yes, that's what now, what I'm saying now.
Yeah.
And that's why I was trying to bring across.
Okay.
That many human beings, we have now become reluctant because we don't have a focus when we are raising our children.
Animals are able to...
And naturally, you find that they will lay at a certain stage, they set them free. I think parents have a problem of even letting go. Now, and you know, this art of parenting...
Especially girls, when they're getting married.
I try to think, and I hope probably that is why why parents cry, yeah?
They cry.
And then we think it is joy.
Wow. So they don't want to release.
Yeah, actually what I wanted you to
But
agree.
maybe for girls, Mr. Kamore, it's
Yes.
not a major issue. But here is the issue of boys.
Yes.
And I think getting to understand from this discussion today
Yes.
that we parents, we have a role to play.
Yes.
Like in the wild, like a leopard, mother leopard,
Yes.
they'll train their young ones. Is it the cub or the calf? What they call them? The cubs, yeah? Or the young ones, yeah? To train, they train them how to hunt.
Yes.
They will immobilize the prey, and then they will allow the young ones to do the chase.
Yes.
Knowing very well it can't go very far.
Yes.
So you're saying even the wild animals, they know how to create that independence.
And let me give an example, Mutua, of an eagle.
An eagle, yeah.
You know what an eagle does? It lays eggs, and when it is preparing its nest, it uses thorns. Then it presses soft grass and then some feathers on the top. Then lays the eggs, and then once they hatch, then it is able to feed the small eagles, the babies, as they grow up. But at a certain point, this eagle actually take initiative because he doesn't want these babies to remain in the nest. So the eagle takes these small eagles and flies very high and started releasing them. And as they learn how to fly, once they fly, they don't go back to the nest. But now, in case there is one that might be raised, you know, by nature, there could be this small one that may feel, oh, I think I don't want to go now. The eagle does not struggle, but it is creative and very innovative in the sense that it will take the baby eagle in the nest, but now remove the soft grass and the comfortable feathers. And now what is going to happen? The thorns now will start now and then it can't bear the pain. So what happens is that without even being forced,
it will have to get out of the comfort zone.
And you can see the determination.
Now, Mr. Kamare,
the key word here, before you go there, is the determination.
The determination to
the
fly.
Determination of this ego to make sure this child become independent. Now let's go back because before we forget that. I was saying that this art of parenting, art is something you can train yourself.
Okay.
but it also requires some innovativeness.
Yeah.
We don't raise children the same way
Mm.
because the environment is not the same,
Mm.
challenges are not the same,
Mm.
and even our personality is not the same.
Mm.
But the principles of parenting, that's why I'm using this word art. As you learn to draw, there are principles of drawing. And then, but now, that principle, once you learn it, then you go on and try to better it.
Yeah.
So the parents of today, they are suffering because of ignorance.
Yeah.
And you know, ignorance is a very bad thing. And ignorance, by the way, is not an abuse. It simply means I don't have the knowledge on what I'm doing. And to challenge you, so that I can give you the opportunity to ask the question, I want us to help to help our listeners understand what we are talking about. Now, I want you to assume, Mutua, and I've given these stories in this book. God has blessed with money, and you have been dreaming of having a dream car, and the money is in your hands. Therefore, you just land into a showroom. When you go to the showroom, you find the car that you wanted. And Mutua, you have never gone to a driving class. You have never even driven or gotten a single skill. And then, but the vehicle, you have the right to it because you have the money. These people are in business. Then you say, please, let me have my car. And then the person asks you, do you have the ability to, you say, don't worry, it is mine. Therefore, they give you the key. So you have cleared with them. Mutua, what are you expecting to have to find along the way?
Because an accident?
Yes, actually, I was.
Or even, I may not be able to drive it out of the...
Yes, that is exactly what is happening with the parenting.
Yes.
We actually go and engage ourselves in a responsibility where we don't have the training, where we don't have the skills, and we don't care.
Who train the animals to parent?
Now, let me tell
You
you.
in the kingdom, in the animal kingdom,
Yes.
they know how to parent.
Yes.
They know how to create that dependence
Yes.
over time. You've talked about, you've given the illustration of Mother Eagle, even cheetahs and other predators. They are
Yes.
good at that, especially lions. And who taught animals to parent?
Now, what I want you to understand, the reason why I'm calling it an ark, probably out of nature, we cannot compare human parenting because we are more quality creatures and we are more innovative and we want the best out of us. Others, if you look at the other animals in the kingdom, they also have their mess because some of these will die as they train them. But we don't want that kind of an accident in our life. So for us, we need to embrace learning.
So
that
for
we have
human,
an art. Yes.
we do it. We don't do it basically on instincts.
Yes. You know, like now,
it's
because
an art. It's
yes.
an art
Yes.
that we have to learn.
We have to learn.
Okay.
And you know, although I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
and we are talking to all the people, if you look at from a Christian perspective, the Bible talks about train a child.
Yeah, in the way.
So God himself does not give us the room for chaos.
Okay.
God is a God of order.
Wow, I like that.
And you know, even when he was creating the world, even if he was saying just let there be, when you look at the order of things, the way they were coming, he did not create fish before there was water.
Yeah, yeah.
He did not create a human being because before there was something to feed on.
Yeah.
That is the nature of God.
Yeah.
That when we bring up our children, we need to take responsibility and nurture them.
Nurture them.
The key word here is nurturing them.
Yeah.
Remember, children can be anything. You know, from an educational perspective, we always say that a child is born with an empty set. You know, the mind is empty.
Yeah.
But the environment in which the child grows, which you can actually manipulate, which you can actually prepare, has a great impact on the kind of a child you are going to find in the near future.
Before I forget my
Yes,
question,
yes.
that's powerful. That's powerful, Mr.
Yes,
Kamore.
yes.
Do you think that in the role of parenting,
Yes.
without being gender biased,
Yes.
our ladies, our mothers, there is this statement, is it mommy's boy or mommy's what? Yeah? Do you think our ladies, like even my wife, I've observed at one point,
Yes.
I intervened when my boy is going looking for a boxer she wants to go and buy for him. One time I give my son some money to go and buy a box, and my wife wanted to do it herself.
Yes.
I told her, no, this is too much.
Mhm.
And someone who is now in Form 4,
Mhm.
you have to accompany your mother when you are going for buying for a boxer.
Yes.
Now, do you think our ladies, without being gender biased, actually, this program, we are not gender biased, we're not against our mothers, but do you think, as an expert, that our mothers are too much into their boys to an extent that they even spoil them instead of helping them to be independent?
Okay, one of the chapter that I have dealt with so deeply in this book is child discipline. This is volume 2. I think you can see it's volume 2 there. There is a chapter I have really written, and it's very critical because it's talking about pampering child and discipline. Sometimes parents over pamper, or say, okay, they pamper children and thinking that they are making them happy, but in the long run, what they do, you cripple them so they don't become independent. Now, the reason why I'm using the word art of parenting, these are principles that you must practice. For example, do you know, to train that child now that you're talking about, it's about you taking initiative, train the child on how to do her own things. For example,
life skills.
You need to train these children in life skills, but you cannot train them if you don't have the skills.
Now, do you think mothers are responsible in developing this, especially boys? Boys who are not responsible, who are not independent, the mommy's boy. Because that's something that I've heard men complain. As an expert, what's your contribution on that?
I tend to think that there are very many factors, and sometimes it's not good to act from hearsay. Parenting has so many factors surrounding it. Now look at the father. When this boy became when he became the mommy's boy, where is the father? You tend to believe that sometimes we have absent fathers. You have to have an intimacy. And I want you to imagine that as a father, if you lose the opportunity of growing close to your child, chances are the child, this baby, started developing intimacy with the mother in the womb. Now, Mutua, do you know? You started interacting with your child 1 year after the child was conceived. And for 9 months, this baby was interacting with who? With the mother. So you can see the intimacy.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, the child is here. Who is breastfeeding the mother? The mother? The child?
Is the mother.
Is the mother. You are never available. Then actually you become absent. And that is why you miss that intimacy.
So the problem is not the mother.
No, not the mother.
The issue of mommy's boy is a product of absentee fathers.
Sometimes
or maybe dysfunctional fatherhood.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, viewers, this is a wonderful program, and we have just 2 minutes to wind up, and I want to give Mr. Kamore just this one more chance to give us the parting shot. We will be continuing on this particular platform. It's a social media program, and courtesy of Crite, and we'll be coming to you from time to time, and we'll be getting alerts on our social media. We kindly request you to connect with us, and anytime we are online or we have a new broadcast, we'll be letting you know. So, Mr. Kamore, what is your parting shot? Kindly, 2 minutes before we sign off.
Yes, I want to say that the goal of parenting simply is simple. Raise the child from dependence to independence. Point number 2, because it's like a summary. For you to walk with that child from dependence to independence, you require skills. You require an art. And therefore, I want to encourage my listeners to be following this program, because we want them to learn. We want them to learn. After they learn, don't just keep that knowledge to yourself. Practice. And when you practice, start teaching somebody else. And independence, children, is what the society needs. And therefore, I want to encourage my listeners, stop the fear of letting the child go. always keep on reminding the child, I am not with you forever. So learn faster on how to start on your own. A concluding illustration. A parent is just like the walking one. When you break your leg, so we have the crash. You are just like a crash. So you give your children a crash, that is your parent, to support themselves as they heal, as they get empowered to walk. But now at a certain time, they will now learn to walk on their own. Let me tell you, Mutua, that is the time you shall celebrate the joy of parenting. So you cannot release these children without training them. And I think the kind of questions you have asked me today is you are asking, do they just become independent? The question is no. They require somebody to nurture them and make them independent. What do they need? They need skills. They need somebody to train them. And don't just train them. Don't just give them the competencies. Engage them. Allow them to do things on their own. Like you have given us a very good illustration that you always want to do things for your child. Let me tell you, as these children grow up, you need to continue releasing some degree of independence. So that by the time they become young adults, they will be able now to walk on their own. And let me tell you, you shall be a very happy parent. I can tell you from the experience. And even when I was writing these books, I was not only writing for the sake of writing. I have been meeting parents in various forums. Like now, I facilitate parenting sessions in schools. And I thank our principals countrywide. They invite me to help them empower the people, because that is the only forum parents have. And by the way, do you know, when you empower parents, they have a great impact in transforming an institution.
It's true.
The churches are another good forum. I want to encourage our dear pastor who are listening to us. Open the door so that these parents can be empowered. I also want to talk about the social media, the radio stations. Everybody, we need to have a concept so that we can have an objective way of empowering our parents. Because parenting is not just a responsibility for the sake of a responsibility. Parenting is a responsibility that requires skill, a responsibility that requires knowledge, a responsibility that requires innovativeness, a responsibility that requires an objective. And the objective is as simple as that. We must raise a responsible generation of children who are able to stand on their own. And I think that is what I want to say.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. You deserve an appreciation.
Yes.
And a big one, Mr. Kamore, for your input that parenting is an art and which has a goal. We just don't parent in passivity. We've got to take it like in a production line. You start with the raw material, a clean slate, and at the end of the day, what you expect is a finished product. Thank you so much.
But I can request our listeners.
Yes, one second, because my
I'm
director is telling me that the time is up. And
I'm sorry, because it is good to tell our listeners that you can leave your comment.
Okay.
If you have a question on what we are discussing, give us your compliment, because we want to be very objective in empowering you. So please make sure you leave your comment and even your question of concern, and we will be addressing it in the upcoming episodes.
Thank you so much. God bless you so much, our viewers. This has been a wonderful session discussing about the goal of parenting, and I believe that you have benefited from this broadcast. And as my guest today and our host has requested us that let's interact on our social media platforms, Crike, and also on YouTube.
Yes, they can visit my YouTube. My YouTube is Stephen Kamore.
Stephen Kamore.
Yes, and I have really recorded very wonderful information.
Okay.
Just go there, subscribe. It is free. You can download and even share.
And even your Facebook is also
Stephen Kamore. But we have the Facebook that is Counseling Research Institute of Kenya. All of them follow.
You can follow us on all those social media platforms, and you'll be blessed and you get more of these. And you can also get this book